Hello guys, and welcome back once again to the Asian channel. And today we are going to talk about what is the future of the MC-21 with the current events in Ukraine and the existing Western sanctions on almost every Russian companies. You can't help but wonder, what is the future of this magnificent aircraft? Buying Russian tech now is like picking a fight with the West. You would certainly get sanctioned, or you will be pressured to cancel your purchase. Certainly, the future of MC-21 and possible international sale would be very unlikely, possibly to only a very few countries, those who are pretty much aligned with Russia and other countries who are heavily sanctioned by the West as well. Countries like Iran, North Korea, Cuba, or Venezuela, that if the commercial airlines from these countries can afford to buy a new aircraft, most of them are stretching the life of their Soviet-era made aircrafts. Just like Cabana, who still uses the IL-86, and Air Koryo still using the IL-62 and Tu-154. The next problem for possible operators of this aircraft is servicing and certification. Boeing and Airbus have a very extensive global network for servicing and maintenance of their aircraft, as they have built this vast network over time, while the Russian manufacturer UAC doesn't have this extensive service. Also, many of the Western countries might not certify this aircraft, so the flight destination of the aircraft would only be limited to countries who would be willing to certify this aircraft. The denial of certification might not be because of the aircraft's safety issue, but mostly due to political reason. The MC-21 is a modern and competitive aircraft to the Airbus A320neo and the Boeing 737 MAX. This is Russia's second attempt to conquer the global aviation market since the fall of the Soviet Union. The first one was a regional jet, the Sukhoi Superjet 100, which is a pretty respectable aircraft for the regional market. Back in the days of the USSR, the Soviet Union made aircrafts on par with their Western counterparts. They were widely used by Soviet member states in the Warsaw Pact countries. Some are even used by non-aligned countries like China. After the era of piston engine, the turbofan jets take on the sky. The West have proven aircrafts like the Boeing 707, the 747, the Airbus A300, and the McConnell Douglas DC-8 and DC-9. While the Soviet Union had the proven Ilyushin IL-62, the IL-86, the Tupolev 154. After the collapse of USSR in the 90s, the Russian aviation industry took a massive hit, and with the lack of funding, it was left behind. It's either they release late or they just upgrade their old airframe design. With all due respect to the IL-96 and the Tu-204, these aircraft is obsolete in modern standard. The Russian engine industry was also left behind. The MC-21 was the first modern aircraft they have created to really compete against Western jet. To show how serious they were at the time on the creation of this jet, future orders of this aircraft had two options. For Russian buyers, they have option for Russian avionics and Russian engine like the new PD-14. For international buyers, the aircraft is equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW1400G turbofan, the same engine used by the A320, the Embraer E2, and the Bombardier C-Series. The avionic is developed by Rockwell Collins, the same cockpit developer for the Boeing 787 Dreamliner and the Chinese C919. The MC-21 is made of 40% composite material, and its wing is made of carbon fibers materials. Composite is a very new technology to add durability and reduce weight of the aircraft and make it more fuel efficient. Airbus and Boeing uses this material as well, while the fuselage is made of traditional aluminum alloys. For comparison, the smallest variant, the MC-21-200, is 36.8 meters long, while the smallest Boeing 737 MAX 7 is 35.56 meters. Seating capacity sometimes defer to airline decision on how much space are they giving to passengers. Also, whether they'll go with the usual tri-class layout or make an all-economy configuration. For maximum passenger capacity and range, the Boeing 737 MAX has a slight edge, It can carry up to 172 passengers, while 165 for the MC-21. For range, the MC-21 has a maximum range of 6,400 kilometers, and the Boeing 737 MAX has a maximum range of 7,130 kilometers on almost similar fuel capacity. However, the MC-21 is much cheaper. It cost around $72 million, while the Boeing 737 MAX cost around $124 million. For passenger comfort, the MC-21 has a much wider cabin at 3.81 meters compared to the 737 MAX, which has 3.54 meters. The MC-21 also has slightly wider seats in aisle. UAC also boasts the aircraft is 10% more fuel efficient than its rival, and the aircraft has lower cost per seat, although I couldn't verify its claims to be true. Now, United Aircraft Corporation is pushing ahead for the creation of this aircraft using 100% indigenous Russian-made parts. How do you think Western sanction would affect the Russian aviation industry? Would this be for the better or the worst? Certainly, global sales would be very unlikely, but at the same time, Russian airlines would be forced to purchase Russian-made aircraft only due to Western embargo. This past 20 years, Russian airlines have purchased Western-made aircraft because it is more efficient than the old Soviet-made aircrafts. Even state-owned airlines like Aeroflot needs to, so that they can be competitive globally against other international airlines on the same route, thus even degrading Russian aviation industry further. Now, UAC has announced they have restarted production of the Tu-204 and the IL-96 due to local demands. Let's see what the future holds for this aircraft. What are your thoughts? What is the future of the MC-21? Will we ever have a chance to experience flying with this aircraft? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you want more topics like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you soon.